Wrong School Books presents One for the Road.
Well, so hey everybody, today I am talking to Joseph Ridgewell, who, like all of us, is in lockdown, trying to write out the apocalypse. So, hey Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm bored, but I'm good.
Right on. So, one of the things
and
that
I'm healthy. I'm healthy so far. So.
Oh well, that's yeah. Knock on wood. Let's keep that one going, right?
Right.
So the one of the things that all of your work, I think, everything that I've read of yours, anyways, with the exception of your poetry, some of your poetry, not all of it, but that what your work and A Deep and Gorgeous Thirst have in common is a drunken travelogue, for lack of a better way to say it. Just drunken misadventures bouncing around all over the world. So what was it originally that set you off on your travels?
Well, host, as you're probably aware anyway, that I was stabbed in the back outside a pub in East London when I was 19, and I nearly died. And I can remember the doctors and that saying if that had been a little bit closer, he would have been dead because it punctured my lung and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was in hospital for about a week. And I just remember lying there because I was 19 or 20, I'm not sure. But I remember thinking, what have I done? Nothing. Mm-hmm. And that was it. I just really thought, fuck it, I've got to go and see stuff just in case I do die. Do you know what I mean? So it was a catalyst for it.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And, I needed to get money, so that was difficult. But I got robbed. The place I was working, I had a knife held to my throat. And anyway, I got sacked and I took them to a tribunal and I got some money. I nearly fucking blew it all now in like a mad, drunken, gruggy. I've spent about £4,000 in 9 days.
Oh my God.
We're talking about 1992. So that was a lot of money. You could put a deposit on a house for that.
No shit.
So I was out of control. But anyway, I was waiting for people to join me and they didn't join me. And so I just went and that was it. I had a bit of money, I had a visa for Australia where I knew I could work. So that was a safety net. Mm-hmm. And that was it. I just got on the plane and never came back for 5 years.
Excellent. And so for those of you out there who don't know, Joe's got tons of books, The Buddha Bar, The Cross, Haiti, Ibiza, Indonesia, Mexico, Burrito Deluxe, Jamaica, Cuba, Honduras, Fire Island, and is it the Santa Expedition? Is that how you say that? The Santa? I'm not sure how do you say that.
I don't know how you pronounce that word.
Oh, excellent.
It's obviously a South American, Central American word, so it could be to Santa, could be. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask a Spanish-speaking Central. Where was it based in? I can't even remember. It would have a Spanish speaker would be able to tell you, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I know what the word means. It's a tribe.
Uh-huh.
That were headhunters or are headhunters apparently down there in the jungles. But yeah, that's a Bottomless Smoke Press book, a lovely book.
Yeah, heck yeah. So these are just light touches on all of the many drunken trips that you took over, I guess, all over that 5-year stretch, huh?
Yeah, about 5-6 years. I went. Obviously, I lived in Australia, and so I wasn't traveling all the time. But one thing led to another. Leaving Australia, going through Malaysia and Thailand, and obviously meeting the character Mindy, or based, and opening the bar there down in southern Thailand.
Yeah, so I guess with times being what they are now, and travel being right now, anyways, is something of the distant past. Like nobody's really going anywhere, mainly for pandemic reasons. In the future, if people do start traveling again, where's one place that you've been that everyone should definitely see?
Well, if we can get back to normal eventually, hopefully, obviously, they've got to go to the Beach of the Dead
Yeah.
in Mexico. It's not that far away from you guys, So
Uh,
it but places change. I had a French poet get in touch with me, Tom Buron, and he'd read Burrito Deluxe, and he said, "I'm going there." He's going. I said, "What? You're going to the Beach of the Dead?" He said, "Yeah, I'm going." And and this was last year or the year
mhm.
before, so very recently, and I could tell it wasn't the same place.
Yeah, yeah.
And so places change. So maybe don't go there. Go and
Right.
find somewhere new, or somewhere. Cape Verde was a very interesting place.
Uh,
Some islands just off the coast of Africa, of West Africa, but was it East Africa? Anyway, my geography is terrible, but
I'm sure.
yeah, that was a very interesting place because a lot of islands and you could do a lot of walking and exploring, and the people very friendly because there wasn't that much tourism. But you know what happens once one person goes, if they write a blog saying how great it is,
Yep.
you're going
The
to get
world
other
is-
people going, and
mhm.
the places get ruined pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm reluctant to tell. If people ask me where was that place, I don't even want to tell them,
Yeah.
because I know what happened.
Excellent. So, mentioning the fact that a lot of a lot of the books of yours, in particular, the really gorgeous handmade, short stories that are, impossible to get now. They sold out long ago. Can't really get them anymore. Do you have any plans to collect everything into like a giant Legend of Ridgewell kind of book at some point?
Well, I think I've spoke to you about this before, but all the novels and the poetry as well, and the novella Indonesia, they all link to each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just finished recently a prequel to Burrito, which was before Burrito, and I've just finished one which takes things up to almost the present day, if you know what I mean. So, and that's the seventh novel in that saga.
Mm-hmm.
So they all link to each other, and people. You were one of the first to realize that actually. Other people didn't realize, and I was like, why don't they?
Right. Yeah.
Same fucking character in all of them, but you was one of the first to realize that the books are linked, and but people are cottoning on slowly that and the short stories. There's a lot, and I'm hoping one day, yeah, maybe when I'm dead, someone will do like, what do you call
Right.
it? A Ridgewell reader, like a
Yeah,
Picasso
yeah. The
reader.
Legend of Ridgewell, or what could we call it? The compendium? I don't know, something.
All right. Well, I was inspired by Jack Kerouac, to be
Yeah,
honest,
for sure. Yeah,
with his the Deleuze legend, and also John Fante with the Bandini Quartet.
yeah.
So I was inspired by that, and that's what I've gone and done. So I've fictionalized my entire life
Mm-hmm.
up to this date, because the last novel, The Enchanted Island, which is what it's called, takes things up to this year, early this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to write another one, I'm going to have to live a bit longer,
Yeah, I guess so. Right.
or stop. I don't know. I haven't written a book about my childhood, so I suppose I could do that.
Yeah,
About
yeah.
growing up in East London and that on a council estate. But yeah, I'm going to have to live a bit longer with this coronavirus. That would be a good start for a new.
It could
But
be. Yeah.
but time will need to elapse. I think another 10 years, and I don't know. I might stop. I don't know, because it might get boring. Because what I've noticed is that as the novels, especially the latest one, I'm not doing as much
Mm-hmm.
because I'm getting old. I'm nearly 50, so I'm not. But I'm still doing certain things. Like last year, I went to Belgium, had a great trip, and I also travelled. I went to Shetland and St Kilda. I went to all the islands in the Outer Hebrides. It was really interesting. But yeah, I'm slowing down basically.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
had to,
gosh,
otherwise
aren't
I'd
we
be
all?
fucking dead. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But funnily enough, the character Ronnie in Burrito Deluxe, who's
Mm.
currently one of Britain's most wanted criminals, he is on the run in Central America, and
Excellent.
but no one's heard from him in nearly 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he's dead. I don't know, but if he's alive, he's just fucking carried on. He's never stopped. But
Right, right.
there's been no word for 2 years because he went on the run because he was looking at about a 15-year sentence
Uh,
because he became an international drug smuggler. He went that way, I went the other way.
sure.
But if he is still somewhere, I just imagine he's on a little beach somewhere because he had money, and I
Mhm.
could imagine him just setting up a little bar, or he's dead. I don't know.
Right. One,
But he
it,
did when he said he was going to carry on going. He did. He never stopped. You know,
I got to
I
say
went.
that's mad respect, right?
Well, you have to. Yeah, you're right. He was doing illegal stuff, and I don't condone what he was doing. But at the same time, he stayed true to his word of, I'm not going to conform. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do a nine. I had to go back and serve 13 years in the civil service
Hmm.
in the British government, which were a little bit soul destroying. I was able to
Sure.
write. I got lucky a bit. I was able to write a lot because the job was pretty cushy, but I still had to go in every day, which you all know about.
Yeah, yeah. A sentence of your own, right?
Aye. Well, Hosho, when I was able to write a lot, but I developed a nervous tick because I
Mm-hmm.
remember you once saying about traffic in your office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to compromise it, but I, I used to, if someone approached my desk, I used to minimize the screen because
Uh,
obviously I'm writing a fucking novel or whatever it is. But I did develop a nervous tick, and people, if they come in the room, I still look over my shoulder.
uh,
And one of my exes would come into the room and say, "What the fuck are you doing? Are you watching porn?"
all right.
I'd be like, "No, no, no, I'm not watching porn. I've got a nervous, So that was what came from that, And I've still got it today. If someone come in the room, I will look over my shoulder
Sure.
instinctively. You know,
Excellent.
who the fuck is that? The manager? Oh shit, man. What are you doing?
Right, right.
Excel spreadsheet, man.
Even in your own kitchen.
Well, once I get what was not the receptionist, but anyway, one of the office workers, she stood behind me and watched me for about 20 minutes. I didn't know she was there.
Uh,
And she said, Joe, what are you doing? I was like, there was no managers around, so it was all right. But I was like, oh no, it's a letter. I'm writing a letter, a long letter.
right.
But she knew, so anyway.
Excellent.
And anyway, what killed that for me was when my ex, Jenny Fagan, got a book out and she was interviewed for a mainstream newspaper, and they mentioned that her partner was a writer.
Mhm.
And then everyone in the office knew
Oh,
who she
the
was and
jig
who
was
I
up.
was. The game was up, man. I came in one day and one of the guys is at his desk reading Last Days of the Cross.
Hmm.
And I said to Jen, they're reading my book. She said, you're paranoid. You're imagining it.
Right.
I said, no, they're reading but they were.
Oh,
They were
actually,
passing it around. They were passing it around, but not telling me.
Mhm.
But it was up then because I couldn't. Because what I would do is write a lot, and it looked like I was working hard
Sure.
because I was doing 2,000 words in 2 hours or whatever. And,
Right.
and the game was up. But then I got made redundant, and then I walked away from it all. So. But yeah. Anyway.
Well, so to me, anyways, that's like, I mean, not unlike Ronnie in that, within the confines of whatever world you were living in, you were staying true to who you were too. So I guess that's all we can ever do, right?
That's right. I came home and I decided to become a writer, and I dedicated myself to it, and I sacrificed lots of things. I sacrificed a career because, I could have got promotions and blah, 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 but I decided not to do that. I sacrificed relationships because I was driven and I was single-minded about it, and I was selfish, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But once I'd started and I was completely self-taught, I had to teach myself everything. I didn't have the advantage of a creative writing course and I made so many mistakes, like serious errors, that if I'd done a creative writing course or degree, I wasted like a year or so with stuff that the teacher would have just said, well, if you do this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So
Right. They would have given you the shorthand.
they would, and so I had to do it myself, and I made loads of mistakes and loads of errors. But now I feel it was the right thing to do because I did it on my own, and I recently gave the latest novel to someone to proofread, like a professional proofreader that I know. Didn't have to pay anything, obviously, and they came back with about 4 typos because it was almost word perfect. Now, I don't want to make myself out to be big-headed or anything, but for the way I do it, which is very simple, as you know, you can read my book my novels in a couple of hours, and I would probably think a 10-year-old could read them and understand them. You know, they're not Immanuel Kant or Schopenhauer,
dense,
or, you know,
dense and periodic, and like none of that stuff.
Your brain begins to melt as you're reading it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have kind of perfected that, and it took. What am I now? Nearly 50. It's what I say to people when young people. I get a lot of young writers contacting me, and they say, you know, well, how long does it take, and what do I need to do? And I'm like, do something else,
right?
Because it took me
25 years or whatever. I started
seriously at 28, so 30, 40, 20
years.
20, 25 years. And if I'd known that at the beginning, no fucking way would I have done it.
Right.
Because, you know, apart from meeting nice people and getting lots of, you know, ego boosts from people who say how great I am or whatever, and meeting lots of interesting other writers and artists, there's been no financial reward at all. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So why would you do it?
Yeah.
You got to be insane. But you know yourself, once you've embarked upon it and once you've got into it deep enough, there's no getting away.
Yeah. It's like its own sort of disease, actually. You know, you get it, you have it forever.
Bukowski called it a sickness.
Yeah.
I remember reading that like when I was 21 or whatever, thinking, what the fuck is that old
What's he
fart
talking about?
But he was fucking right, man.
Of course, yeah.
And it is, but gives you something to do, I suppose. You know?
Indeed, yeah. And I mean, for whatever reason, I think the thing that keeps me going is I'm constantly wondering how to make sense of my own damn world and my own damn life. And like for me, that's writing is one of the tricks that helps. So that's
that's the eternal question, isn't it? You know, why are we here? What's the point of it? You know, my son's in the other room jumping around. He's only 9, and this virus thing's going on, and you think, why? You know, what's it all about? You know, and then you see all this shit going on, all the crap that they do, you know, the governments and everything else. But I still have this kind of, I have this outlook that I don't understand everything. I never will. You know, even on a clear night, I look at the stars and like, what the fuck are they? We can't be the only. There must be something else out there, or someone else out there, and you know, I don't know. I've never stopped wondering. Put it that way. I don't, you know. So that keeps you going, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it kind of like
because life is
curiosity,
a mysterious.
Empowers you.
Yeah, and you know, I looked into it when I was really reading, voraciously reading everything, and I wanted to know how the universe, you know, how did it start, and the eggheads or the, you know, whatever you want to call them, academics, the theories, when you look into it, they haven't come up with any answers, you know.
Yeah.
There's the Big Bang, right? So that's it, a big fucking bang. No, sorry, I can't. You know, there's superstring theory and all the other theories, and I'm a layman, so I don't understand all the technical side of it. But even they have come to the edge of human reasoning, and they don't fucking know.
Right, you're not. Just scratch the surface.
I just find that fascinating. That the cleverest people, because I'm not that clever. You know, I grew up in a council estate. I left school at 16 with no qualifications whatsoever. I just have a curious mind. But these guys are the clever guys, and they're the ones that, you know, who have got the best results, the best degrees, and whatever else, and they don't know. And they're sitting there scratching their head, going, "Fuck it, I don't." Big Bang.
Right? Yeah, a big explosion. That's what did it.
The fart.
Yeah, that's humans. Humans always think it's the explosion is the reason or the answer, right?
But yeah, you know, so I'm still imbued with wonder at the world, and even though lots of it disgusts me, you know, it really truly does. But even with this virus thing, you know, it's like, the fuck is that? You know, where'd that come from, and why?
It always seems when we're in situations like this, like to me, anyways, it seems like humans have constantly outrun the trouble they've made for themselves just barely. Like something like this will come along, and then some brilliant person will put together a way out of it, and we'll be through this patch, and then the next thing will come along that we've probably wrought on ourselves, and maybe someone else will save us. It's like neck and neck every single time. It's like a horse race, and we're just barely staying ahead of our own demise. And I mean, maybe that's humanity in a nutshell.
Well, if you look at it from a negative viewpoint, I read Oswald Spengler's Decline of the West when I was a young man, and he wrote that, I think, in 1920 or 30,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about how we've peaked as a civilization. He was focusing on the West primarily.
Mm-hmm.
That was his experience, and if you read that, it was like, fucking hell, it's right. We're not going forwards. Technology is, but we're not as a civilization. So, we might be doomed. I don't know. And some people would say planet Earth without humans would be a good thing. Because we do pollute.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, and as far as we know, that's the only place in the universe that does that. That's kind of goofy to shit where you eat, but I don't know if we can't sort that, then maybe we don't deserve the planet, right?
Well, it's like when in Burrito Deluxe, when we decided to just drop out and kind of like do the hippie thing, but we weren't hippies, obviously. But you can't do that. The human race has gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. You could maybe find a little island somewhere and do it, but even then, there is no isolation anymore. You can't. That is no answer to anything.
Yeah, there's just people everywhere.
Well, yeah, there's too many people. I live in a country which is sparsely populated, so but I was born in London and grew up in London, which is a population of 11 million people, so it's too many people. What I noticed on my travels was that countries where there was a small population, the standard of living was far better.
Mm-hmm.
Any country where there was a populace, where like India or wherever, or China, the standard of life was less. It decreased. The more people there are, the standard of living drops.
Just harder to get resources with so many people, huh?
It's just how it is, yeah. For whatever reason. So countries with small populations, their standard of living is far better, like Sweden or somewhere like that, or places up north. But you live in a very populous country, but it's a big country.
Yeah, it's New Mexico is a curious place because the states are enormous. New Mexico is the fifth biggest state. So we've got tons and tons of land and not a whole lot of people. But we're also pretty limited in terms of industry and stuff. And so we've always been kind of a poor state, but at the same time, like wide open spaces, lots of, beautiful landscapes and stuff around. And so it's kind of like, it's America, but not,
yeah, it's not New York or Boston.
No. Even, I live in Albuquerque, which, is the biggest city in the state. And I think we're just over maybe 700,000 people, pretty spread out. There are pockets of town where buildings and stuff are pretty dense, but for the most part, folks have elbow room. And then you get outside of the cities and there's lots of, wide open, 2-lane stretches of highway that, like you would imagine from a Kerouac novel or whatever, that stuff still exists. So it's a curious balance, I think.
Yeah, no, that's right. I know. I went to America. Where did I go? I went to New York. So I saw New York, obviously, and that was Times Square and all that, which reminded me of the beats, but I didn't really like it. And then I was visiting someone in the South, so I went to Kentucky. Lexington was where I went, but we was driving around, and I was like, there was so much space. There's so much. It was all horse country, so there's all these farms or ranches, whatever you call them, with these expensive horses that cost loads of money. But there's so much space. I was like, this is great. But I remember it was a bank holiday, and everyone from wherever the surrounding counties went to this lake, which was, I think was a reservoir, but it all of a sudden all the highways were blocked. And there
Mhm.
was fucking traffic jams everywhere because everyone on this day or this weekend, I can't remember what weekend it was, but it was a bank holiday, like a holiday, and they'd all gone to this lake
Sure.
because obviously Lexington, Kentucky was inland. And I was
Mhm.
yeah, this is hell. It's like,
Exactly.
but what topped it off? I went to Boone, Boone County. No, Owsley. Anyway, where Daniel Boone was born or grew up.
Okay.
And I went into a hotel because I wanted to get a beer because we'd been trapped in this traffic jam for like 2 hours. And I walked into the hotel and the woman said, "This is a dry county."
Oh
I said,
no.
"What?" Yeah. I said, "Where can I get a beer?" She said, "Next county along." I can't do the accent, obviously.
Right, right.
I said, "Daniel Boone would be spinning in his fucking grave, man."
That's right.
But it was a dry county, which I wasn't aware that they still
Oh yeah,
existed.
that's right.
But they do.
Yeah, something like where they make Jack Daniels, I think, is a dry county. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Because I went to a bourbon. It wasn't Jack Daniels, but yeah, there was bourbon all over the place. There was brewing it everywhere. It was a fucking dry county. It's like,
Right, right. That makes perfect
you
sense.
can drink it. We'll be all right.
Right. Just go on the other side of that imaginary line there and drink all you want, but not here.
And the next county along was another 40 minutes drive. Or
Ugh, terrible.
Anyway.
Well, hey man, thanks for doing this. It's always great to catch up with you and have a little chin wag. It's good times reaching across the Atlantic and connecting with you.
Yeah, no, it's the wonder of the internet, eh? Because this has been flawless almost, eh? I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely nice talking to you, and good luck with a deep and gorgeous first, as they say.
Yeah, you will be getting.
Everyone should read it, by the way.
You'll get yourself one of the snazzy old vocal talent editions because you recorded some tracks for the thing, and so I'll get that in the mail to you sometime in the next couple of months. Let's hope, if the mail is still running. And
well, we know I've sent you a book, and I'm not.
Right, we'll see.
Get it. Keep me posted on that, anyway.
I definitely will. So thanks again for doing this, man. I'll talk to you again.
But everyone out there, Hosho looks like a cowboy.
He does. At least until he shaves.
They want to know. I can't understand why you. I said to you, give me a photo. No. But
well, I don't want to subject people to my hideous face. I mean, come on, you saw it on the video.
Yeah, so what I said, you look like a cowboy, man. You're edited this bit, I know.
Excellent. No, I'll leave it in, man.
Hosho, stay safe, mate, and I'll hopefully when this is all ended, get back to normal. I'll get in touch and we'll have a virtual beer.
Absolutely, that sounds great, man.
When the pubs reopen.
Right.
Adios, amigo.